What's up, beautiful souls? OCO, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mamina. You can call me Mina for short, or Divine Starseed. We're in another mystic collaboration, my love, and this time it's what big transformations are happening for you. Okay, so this is a timeless reading. Whenever you find this is meant for you. This collaboration is for the month of July. We are in Cancer season, so expect, some feels to come out here. You have three options before you. Pile 1, 2, and 3. You can choose from the beautiful beings before you, or you can choose based on the backs of the tarot decks that you see sitting here. I recommend that you close your eyes. You inhale for the count of 3 slowly. Hold it for the count of 3. And then slowly release it for that count. Pause the video and do it as many times as you feel you need to until you feel grounded. And once you open your eyes, choose your pile. You may resonate with more than one pile. That's okay. I will run the name of the collaborators on the screen for each pile so that you can be reminded, and also make sure that you check the link in the description for their videos. It'll be like getting an extended reading. And without further ado, my loves, we're going to hop into pile 1. This is a collective message. Only take what resonates to and for you. All right, pile 1. You chose the Heavenly Bloom Tarot. Your pile, the pre-channel message for you and what this reading will dive into. Accepting the uniqueness within yourself, but also accepting it within others. Some of you are like the moon. You have a side of you that you keep tucked away and hidden. You might be the kind of person that likes to do things behind the scene. You don't always like the foreground. Some of you, naturally shine. Both parties naturally shine. Remember that the moon illuminates the night sky. But some of you, you're like daylight. No matter what you do, you seem to be in the forefront, and you're a leader, so it doesn't bother you as much to take, spotlight position. You love the idea of helping others to expand and grow. What both of these personalities have in common, sometimes you're the I gotta do it all by myself person. And the other half is the I want help, but it never seems to be available. It never seems to be ready when I need it. So I tend to just train myself to do it myself or give up on it entirely. And if you could accept the importance of your gifts, of your role in others' lives, and then accept those who are coming in your life, they're going to be of importance, they're going to contribute a lot, and or accept the ones that are already here that are trying to help you and contribute, you'll find more balance and harmony. Because at the end of the day, it's about that. It's about getting that balance and that harmony, getting to a state of non-duality. And so you might find that you'll be put in situations that'll cause for you to really take note of how gifted others around you are and how it blends, harmonizes, and contributes to your own capabilities. And for those of you who like the shadow a little bit more, you're going to find yourself coming more so being pushed a little bit more towards the limelight. Not limelight as in fame per se, though that could be for some of you, but being the leader, being at the forefront. And for those who are used to being in the forefront, you're going to find yourself sometimes having to just allow someone else that space for a second. And that might be kind of hard because you're used to, but if I do it, I know it's going to be done right. You got to give people their chance. Both parties like to see people grow and expand, or get assistance to grow and expand. So this is just something to take note of. Let's dive into your tarot message. Let's see what big transformations are helping you. We've got the World. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 6 of Cups. What did I tell you about those connections and bonds, right? Harmony. Oh, and we got the 3 of Cups. Oh. Oh, and at the bottom of the deck, we have the 4 of Wands. Okay, beautiful. Listen, a part of accepting others around you have an important role in your life to play. And when we say role here, we're not talking about in order to be this in my life, you have to follow this particular structure. You have to be conditioned. We're not talking about conditions. We're talking about how powerful others can be to you as an ally when you allow people to assist you to the best of their capability and their capacity without feeling like it has to be structured a certain way. And that's for some of you who, again, if I do it, I know it's right. Or I tend to have to do it myself anyway. So I've programmed myself to not ask for help or to not be open to receive it. Maybe even looking at what someone else does and being more in a judgmental state of mind. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily a bad person and you're going out of your way to make somebody feel uncomfortable. But you might find yourself at times with I would have done it this way. I would have said. And the problem with that is you're not that person, right? And that person is not you. And every now and then you're going to find yourself doing things different than another individual around you. If you harmonize and come together, the things that need to come into completion for you so that those new beginnings can start happens more smoothly. The same can be said when it comes to the Six of Cups here. And a lot of you, this isn't just about your inner child wounds. Some of you have to tap back into celebrating more with your inner child. You've kind of become conditioned sometimes to being not completely mundane, but maybe sometimes a little bit of doomsday, or you'll see how something can go wrong before you see how something can go right. And that's another thing that keeps you at bay with people, or it makes you feel like you can only be a certain role in people's lives. You can either only be the leader because all the responsibility falls on you anyway, or you can only be the person that's a supporting role because who are you to expand out of that? And you're being told, if you can tap more into that playful side of the inner child, if you can tap more, and it's not really an if, this is something that you know you're capable of doing, right? You'll find that the bliss that comes from that, the creative expression that comes from that, it really allows you to look around and accept that you and the other people that are important to you in your life that are helping you. We're not talking about people who hinder you in any way, in a negative energy and whatnot. We're talking about those who help you expand. You'll be grateful for what they contribute, even if it's drastically different. The sun and the moon are both necessities in our world. The moon assists us at night and grants us that protection. We go through the cycles, through the changes of it. In Divine Feminines, you understand this to the fullest, right? And then the sun, it gives us daylight. It gives us a chance to bask in it, a chance to expand, to grow. It's why our plants can grow so big and etc. Bear in mind, right? Certain things grow better at night. Certain things grow better in the day, but both are needed anyway. So you are needed. Those that can assist you are needed. When you're working on something, what other people can contribute to it. A lot of you are multi-talented. For others, you might say to yourself, there's only one thing that if I put my mind to it, I can get it done correctly. You're going to start discovering new talents for those who fit in that category. For others, where it's like, you know that you're multi-talented, but sometimes you need help focusing. That's another reason to see how things can come together here. There are people who want to celebrate you. There's a community that wants to show you their care and show you their generosity. Each one of these people have something important that they contribute to the collective effort, right? So if you find that you're more on the lonely side right now, trust, believe, and know help is coming. And what's the thing I've been telling you guys who are used to my channel, speak it as it is. Not just a speaking it into existence, which can sound like I'm going to have, I will have, I have, I'm doing, it happened, it's done. Though that's the new way to talk, right? Because the people coming around you are going to have a similar attitude. Nothing's impossible when you work together type of energy. And there are going to be times that you need to do some things solo dolo, but I'm just feeling this energy of achievement, celebration, acceptance. Let's get a little bit into the shadow side here. See what could be pausing some of this energy that needs to be removed and released. Let's get into the shadow side here. Codependency, unhealthy attachments, whether this is you with other people or other people with you. And because a lot of you have that I got to do it myself vibration, you're used to sometimes people being codependent on you in an unhealthy way. And it can make it hard to accept those that are coming in that don't have that kind of vibration. But Spirit's telling you, open up, right? Remove unhealthy attachments, whether it be codependency or something else, and distance yourself from individuals who want to just, I'm going to cling to you. I'm going to just cling to you. Or they get on you about your talents. If you're multi-talented, if you're multi-anything, people have a tendency of wanting to box you in and say you're good at only one thing. And those of us who do many things and we're drawn to it and we perfect our craft, it can, in the beginning, it can bother you. Like, why do I have to do one thing if I can do multiple things? It's the way that the world's been trained to not accept a higher multidimensional level of themselves. Don't fret over that. Don't allow that to disrupt you so much that you allow your greatness to dim out, or that you find yourself being a lone wolf. If you are only good at one talent, don't let somebody make you feel bad about that either. Those of us who do multiple things, we have so much that it's like having 80,000 tabs open at once. And sometimes we can get it's a little hard to focus if there's not someone there, or if we don't remind ourselves, hey, focus, right? The person who's good at the one task is really good at focus most of the time, but they tend to get stuck in. Do you see how we can assist each other here? The multitasking person, the individual who's multifaceted can come in and say, hey, expand your creativity a bit, expand your adventure. You got to be more adventurous here. The person who's really good at focusing and honing in on a particular detail can sit with that person who has 1,000 tabs open and go, okay, let's close some of these for now so we can get this part here done, or let's schedule this so that it doesn't feel like a chaotic mess in your head, right? There's an expression where they say some thrive in chaos, right? But can those who thrive in chaos learn to thrive in peace? Once you do that, you've reached a new level. Another card that we had that came out here is miscommunication, not seeing eye to eye, misunderstanding. And this is another reason to tap into, I keep getting the inner child like laughing and just being playful. Sometimes you might be taking something too seriously, and so you'll misunderstand. This could also be someone's, take it how it resonates, right? It could be someone doing this towards you. But if you get more into a kid-like state of joy, you know how kids can scrape their knee and then be fine 2 seconds later, or not as far as bullying, but they can kind of have a little bit of a confrontation with another kid, and all they got to do is apologize, like, okay, I'm sorry, and they're right back to playing ball like nothing happened. It's not saying to act like nothing happened, but it is saying stop carrying things around. If there was a miscommunication, take time to evaluate which side it came from. How did it happen? Understand your responsibility in it, the other person's responsibility. Either you can talk it out or you got to move on from it. But either way, you can't carry it. There's this need to, I just keep hearing joy, 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 transformation, joy, joy, joy. So make sure that you're not always feeling misunderstood, that you're actually evaluating when that feeling is authentic. There's an energy this month of authenticity that's very strong. And that means being really honest with yourself and others. We have someone is trying to appease the other. Okay, so I feel like this is for those of you who may resonate with that being in the shadow a bit more, right? There's a community that wants to come in and support you, but you might find yourself trying to please individuals who aren't really in your corner, and Spirit's like, no. You're not meant to be a background supporting role in everything. Just like the person who illuminates all the time isn't meant to not allow another person to come in and shine on an occasion. And we have pride, self-centeredness, ego-driven. These are things these are things that need to be confronted in order for you to be in a higher vibration. And there are events coming in your life. Sorry about my phone, guys. There are events coming in your life that are going to cause for you to have to go through this shift and go through this change. My phone has alarms going off, so that's important for somebody, because I had the volume off of my phone. So it's important for somebody to like really wake up and get the message. I always say when notifications ring, whether it's my phone, your phone, in the middle of a reading, it's letting you know, hey, get this notice, get this information, take it in, important message coming in. something of substance that needs to be evaluated and accepted. So the shadow side of this, codependency, whether it be from you or someone else, miscommunication, whether it's you misunderstanding, miscommunicating, however, whichever, and this someone trying to please energy. These are the shadows for you to confront within yourself, and you might see them reflecting to you in other people. Reflections aren't always an exact mirror, so it doesn't mean that they have to do things the exact way you did it, but you will see by what irritates you. Okay? Check yourself when you feel those energies. Get centered, get grounded. Tap into knowing that you are a full being. The world card can also mean fullness. You're a full being. You don't need to be codependent or attached to someone else, right? The connections that are of the utmost importance, that bring joy and inspiration out of you, those are the connections for you to expand on, and that means getting in tune with your inner child, okay? So that you can let go of any miscommunications from the past or any miscommunications that have happened at present. Whenever you see this, you have a support team that wants to come in here and cheer you on, whether they're with you already or they just want to come in. And you don't want to allow this energy of trying to please or be everything to everybody get in the way of accepting real love, real support. And remember, again, this is all taking place in the stages of events. There's a celebration coming soon. Somebody's going to get invited to an important event soon. Don't let pride get in the way of you accepting that ticket, that invitation. That's what I'm hearing. All right, let's get into your dragon cards. Whoop. Oh! What did I say this whole time? Bam. Transformation. Look at that. And what's the topic? What big transformations are coming? Look, you're shedding old skin here. You're drawing a completion to a version of you that's no longer supporting your mission, no longer supporting what you need to do in this lifetime, right? You're defining yourself more. Some of you have dragon familiars. It's giving a lot of passion energy. And we have dominance, believing in yourself, believing in your capability, understanding how it contributes to the collective. I always tell you guys, when you're tapping into your divine purpose, right? You are tapping into one, the thing that drives you, and it's going to be many things. Many things can drive you. Many things can be a part of your passion, a part of your purposes, right? And then the second part of that purpose is, how can that be of service to the collective? Because whether you like it or not, regardless of belief systems, you are contributing to the collective. And the collective is contributing to you. You are both the influence and the influencer. The more you stand in your personal light and you accept yourself, and you start to, for some of you, it's a redefining of self. The more you start to accept the light that's in others, if you haven't been already, and you see how they harmonize, how they come together. The moon and the sun work together in our environment. You know, they complement each other. They give us the day, they give us the night. And we can grow and expand in either one of those settings. Sometimes we might have to trade off. Those of us in the moonlight got to stand in the sunlight. Those of us in the sunlight got to stand in the moonlight. But we gain what we need, that feminine and masculine balancing energies, right? That you have both within yourself and that you can see reflect within others. Stay with it now. We have space. I feel like a lot of you need to create sacred space for yourself. There's a need to expand. Again, this is about expansion. And where does the sun and moon sit? In space, my love. Create sacred space for yourself and give space to others in the sense of, again, letting others shine, letting others be of assistance to you. Tap into your intuition, use your discernment. Nobody's telling you to go around all willy-nilly, just trusting people before you know you've vetted them out and making sure that they're legit. But you are being told to be more open. And wow, that flew out. Whoop! Peace. What was I talking about? What was I talking about? Psh, I don't even need to say nothing. I don't need to say nothing to that. Powerful voice. To some of you that like the background, to some of you who like the sunlight, however, you have a powerful vibration when you speak. So you got to be mindful of the things you say to yourself and the things that you say to others, especially during this Cancer season. I mean, this is, this is collective, but just bear in mind, we have creativity. A lot. What did I tell you about your inner child? You see how confirmations can just come out, that 6 of Cups? Being more joyful, it opens the door to more creative. And some of you do creative job, like works. And we can consider a lot of our jobs to be creative, but some of you might be writers, artists, graphic designer, a planner, like a wedding planner or an event planner. I keep hearing the word event, and not letting your pride get in the way of an event, right? Let's get your little Buddha affirmations. Words of encouragement for yourself. Let's see. Pile 1. What affirmations do you need, Lord? The way that shot across the table. There are better times ahead. It won't rain all the time is a song from the movie The Crow. And I started hearing it a little bit. Healing is a process, one step at a time. Healing takes effort with choices aligned. I want y'all to really see that. Powerful. And see this, the sunflowers, there's that sunlight again. The water here, there's that moon energy again. We know that the moon helps to control the tides, right? Let's get one more. One more, Spirit. One more. Thank you. Ooh. Look up at the stars. Look up at the stars, and you will see that hope is near. The hope you need. And look at the little star. Didn't I tell y'all shine? Even if you like the background, you still find the moon shines at night, even though it has a hidden side. Those hidden sides eventually come to light. You are illuminating in so many areas, in so many ways, and it's time to balance your talents and the talents of those coming around you or that are around you, the inspiration, together. Accept the importance of the role that you play in people's lives, whatever that may be, whatever you want to define that as, whatever, and be open to hearing how other people feel you. How do they feel your vibration? How does your love, your friendship, and your support feel to them? Be open to receive and accept them flowers. Okay, that's been a consistent message for a while now. People needing to be able to accept their flowers. My love, that was your message, Pile 1. I pray that it gave you some clarity. It resonated for you. Peace, love, and light, beautiful soul. What up, Pile 2? What it do, baby boo? This is your message, bit of the pre-channeling for you. Very simple, actually. This is about expressing yourself, accepting your individuality, coming out of your shell. So yes, there's this coming out of comfort zone vibration, but there's something expanding within you that you might as well just accept that it's happening, because you're not going to be able to put an exact finger on the hows and the whens. You're just going to look up in certain situations and be like, I didn't know I was capable of that. I didn't realize I had that talent. I didn't know. It's a lot of self-discovery and self-acceptance coming in for this pile here. And so a big part of your transformation is you'll find yourself being put in situations where people they're appreciating you, just like the uniqueness of you. You might find people, if they don't already, you might find people saying things to you like, wow, you're really gifted at this, or you're really amazing at that. And it's not about you getting conceited and getting in your head. It's just accepting the growth that you're having as an individual, right? That part of you expanding that you can only really credit to the fact that you were open to expand in the first place. There's some judgment. I feel like others judge you a bit here because of your uniqueness. You could have been the black sheep in a family, or you are the black sheep in your family. You might have found yourself at times in friendships where people wanted to use you more than assist you, but that's phasing out, love. That's phasing out. Be prepared to just see new aspects of yourself, the hidden self coming to light. It's going to be amazing. Let's dive right on into your message. The big transformation coming for Pile 2. We're using my Fate flowers. Got the Knight of Swords. Woo! Listen, you got places to be. You have people to meet, okay? And your personal uniqueness is what's getting you through the door. You got a mission here. The Knight of Swords, and when I channel that energy, it's very mission driven. If it has to be aggressive sometimes. So some of you might find that a more aggressive side of you comes out, not in a negative sense, but like more of an authority. Like, you know what? I know what I'm meant to do. I know what I have to achieve, and I'm not going to allow anybody to tell me otherwise. I'll be open to learn, but if they're trying to tell me that I can't be all that I can be right now, or that I can't expand in some measure or sense, bunk that. I've already been given the sign from a higher power that I have something important that I'm meant to do in this world that contributes to the shift of the paradigm here. So I got to do what I got to do. You're being told to be mindful to not get too cocky though. You know what I mean? Like, because yeah, you're used to naysayers and people kind of putting you down, or the people that you would want to kind of be open to respecting you might not sometimes accept all of your talents. And you're getting to a position in life where you're going to find yourself being confident in those talents and not shying away from them for fear of people thinking that you believe you're better or that you know it all. You're letting go of that anxiety, and you're also letting go of maybe sometimes having that judgment of other people. But Spirit's like, just be mindful to not be cocky. Don't become one of those people who is like, I'm going to give you an example, right? And it's no offense to this, but we got to be honest around here. Sometimes you get people who do this job or other spiritual work, and they'll say things to you like, you can't listen to nobody else but yourself because all the answers are within you. Yes, all the answers are within you. But the reason that you sometimes find yourself needing guidance is because the world around you has conditioned you to not always know how to instinctively tap into that. It's in the brain somewhere, right? It's in the body somewhere. It's in the soul somewhere. But you've been taught to make that side of you dormant. Most importantly, a part of human existence is interaction. They did an experiment, I brought this up before, where they took a baby, a newborn baby, and for the first couple of weeks, they didn't let the baby near the mom too much. They were inside of the little casket, case thing, and they would only take them out to change them. And this was a messed up experiment, but it was an experiment they did, because apparently humans need to do messed up experiments to accept grand realities, right? The baby became ill. Now it was, the baby was born healthy. There wasn't any major issue. The only thing was that child wasn't allowed a lot of contact with the mother and father. The other people around it only brought out to feed it, change its diaper, and call it a day. When you don't have human interaction, which you need, because you're put here to express love, to feel love, to expand it, it breaks you down mentally and eventually physically. And it keeps you from connecting wholeheartedly to your spirit, to your soul, to those higher planes of who you are. In that moment, what do you think they had to do with that child after the experiment? Can you imagine the amount of love that child had to be given in order to rewrite the damage that had been done? Don't allow yourself to be in a space where you feel like you can't accept the guidance of others at times when you need it, and also be a person who may give guidance to others when you need it. The key isn't about not accepting it or having it in your life. The key is accepting that those who are genuinely giving you guidance are always going to push you to be great and push you to tap into your inner energies. My clients know this about me. Those of you used to my channel, you know this. I'm going to always remind you of what you're capable of. There might be times you're clouded. You can't see it. Okay, let's get you back on track and let's keep you on track. I don't normally want people coming to me with the same problem twice. You know what I mean? What does that mean? That means that first issue was healed, that was fixed, that was done. But I'm also understanding to the fact that everyone's healing takes a different amount of time and process. But by no means am I going to tolerate you just sitting still and putting up with the bare minimum that somebody's giving you. I'm never going to tell you, you have to stay with me in order to advance to the blah, blah, blah. And nah, man, I'm going to remind you of your greatness. Allow yourself to be reminded of how great you are without getting to the cocky point where you honestly start to feel that you can't accept guidance from other people. Be wary of someone who tells you things like, oh, you're listening to that? I mean, you're not sovereign if you're listening to this, that, and the third. Keep in mind that these are the same people who claim they have guides, right? What do guides do? They give guidance. These are the same people who claim they're talking to their ancestors, right? Last time I checked, that's guidance, right? So if you can accept guidance from people who were here and transitioned over, don't you think there's a couple of people in your vicinity that are also growing and also expanding that can accept guidance? And if you are a person who needed that reality check because you've slipped up on occasion and you've had that kind of mentality, this is your reality check, right? They're taking a minute with that card. This is your reality check here. Yes, you have a mission. Yes, you must be driven. You also need discipline and respect for others. And others ought to give that to you too. And that is still a part of accepting your grand individuality. How do you contribute to this collective as the unique soulful being that you are? Never take it for granted, and never take anyone else's role in it for granted. You have your mentors and your senseis and masters and etc. for a reason, but they're not meant to rule you, and you're not meant to rule anybody else. It's all about helping you reach a new enlightened state. And so you give respect to those people because they've earned it. You know, them yogis earned it. Them gurus earned it. And not every yogi, guru, mentor, and etc. is going to be for you. That's fine too. You might grow and expand with one person for a minute and then switch to someone else. Somebody really needed to hear this. This is a big part of your transformation and like accepting. Ooh, child, that popped right out. This is a big part of your transformation of acceptance of self and not being too caught up in the matrix, so to speak, even though that too used to be a complete different meaning. We'll get into that another time. We have 10 of Wands. Look how her arms are open. Like, I'm not really carrying this ish on my back no more. That chip on the shoulder, chip on the back. I'm not really bothering with that anymore, child. I've gotten myself out of this state. I'm starting to see instead how those situations became an investment in the growth of who I am. This doesn't mean that bad things had to happen to you in order for you to expand. Sometimes people, again, condition themselves. That's what you've been taught to do. So you'll hear people say, I'm glad I went through this trauma because it made me who I am today and blah, blah, blah. The part of you that follows that destiny was going to be that regardless. That thing that came in to try to knock you off of course. There are other challenges that can happen in life that are more natural and more organic to existence that you could use that terminology for. But when it comes to trauma as a child, and you know, we're not going to go into too much into that part of the shadow, but you get what I mean, right? Those really dark things that can happen, that's not supposed to be normal. That's not supposed to be normal. People transitioning that you love is normal, and healing from that, right? Relationships not always working out for some people can be normal, but people who purposely go out of their way to make you miserable, to put you down, to poke fun at you and call it. I'm hearing this song about the boy named Sue, how the father named the boy Sue so that he could get picked on in school, and that was going to like help him toughen up and be a man and all this jazz. Think about the warped reality you live in where that's okay. To like, I'm just going to name my kids something knowing that they're going to be traumatized, because it's not like bullying back in the day. Even today, bullying is really bad, but you didn't have cameras. You couldn't catch things back in the day when people would really do something messed up, right? Also that this person could learn to be hard. And what does that, let's say it worked, right? Let's say the person becomes hard. Now they can't communicate to others. Now they're always like, because somebody got out for me, so I got in. What do we see among our masculine group? A lot of you that are watching this might be very much in tune with your masculine side, or you're a masculine. And you find yourself sometimes having a hard expressing, being open, accepting, right? Why? Because of this one incident that was supposed to harden you. Man-made ideals of strengthening someone can tend to go really wrong really fast if you're not careful. And this person is choosing to release all of that. And I always tell you guys, look for the lesson. In the lesson, you find the blessing. Make sure that you are open-minded and you're not trying to find your lesson with a trauma-oriented mind. Because once you find the lesson and the blessing, you expand beyond it, you let it go, you heal. But when you constantly look for reasons to justify a wrong, justify a parent not having a good connection with you, justify whatever it may be, you're actually continuing the trauma. It becomes a trigger for you. And as long as something is a trigger, you can be manipulated in a really bad way by other people. She's letting that go. She's got her arms open. She's about to come out of these wands sitting here, freeing herself. I choose to see them instead as investments that help me expand, but not to carry them with me anymore like a badge of honor. Now, whoever needed to hear that, blessings to you, healing to you. We have the Eight of Cups. Moving on along. And we have Justice at the bottom of the deck. I love when spirit moves like this. They might sometimes have me take a minute on a card for y'all, but they always bring it back full circle. There's a need to be in a high vibrational state and no longer dwell in negativity. And there's a mission to go to the next level. And I'm telling you, the transformation you're going to see in yourself as you do this, you can't pay for it. Money can't buy it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there are major events happening in your life right now as you watch this that you might be underestimating, thinking it's just a nuisance, it's just a distraction, but it's going to end up paying off to be something far more enlightening. And that enlightenment, it's not always about what you're leaving. I tell y'all that all the time. It's not always about what you're leaving. It's about where you're going. Right? So be honest with yourself. Be authentic in what you do and how you move. Be an authority in what you're trying to create. And remember, true authority isn't about ruling another. It's not about ruling another. It's about when I give my word, I get it done. I get it done with conviction. When I commit myself to a task, I commit myself to that task knowing that I am studying every aspect of it, open to learn every stream of it, so that I can be an authority in how I move in it. You need to hear that just like that. Don't let anyone make you feel weak, but don't get cocky out here. You've been through some ish, let it go. You don't need to carry it, because where you're going is far more divine. Justice is divine order in my readings. Those who did you wrong, not your problem. They're going to get handled. They're not your problem, though. Right? If you got a legal matter, I normally don't bring up legal with the Justice card, but this is what I'm hearing. If you got a legal matter, you'll have the victory in it. The victory may come in a way you didn't expect it to, though. A lot of victories in your life are going to come in ways you didn't expect it. Let's look in your shadow. Let's look in your shadow pile, too. Let's see what you need to clear out. Settling. Someone has resigned themselves to accepting less. What's that night telling you to do? You got a mission to do here. Don't you settle for less. Respect others, but you don't settle for less. You don't need to. Got to be more mindful in what you say to yourself. You got to be more mindful in how you respond to situations in your past. Are you sometimes giving excuses to events that happen to you that don't need the excuse? Instead, be honest with yourself and then say, what did I learn from it? You might find that the negative lessons you learned come in first, and you have to really take your time and clear out what that means and not get attached to, oh, you didn't have a loving parent. Well, the parent, they loved you the best they could, and but some stuff is common sense, you dig? Some stuff is common sense. And while that may apply to some people, it darn sure don't apply to everybody and for everything that goes down all the time. And you just got to be real with yourself about that. Don't put yourself in a position where you start tolerating certain behaviors because, oh, it's so similar to that parent that didn't know how to do better. It's so similar to that friend that didn't know how to respect and accept you. You are becoming very independent right now. Okay? So be mindful. Pay attention to your own thoughts about these type of events and situations. Oop! Listen. Listen. You chose this pile for a reason. Childhood traumas affect relationships around you. It's not this relationship, it's relationships around you. Might have been the reason that it was hard to be with a committed person because you're used to being abandoned at a younger age, or you're used to tolerating a certain thing happening to you that you started to project that excuse onto them friends, onto them lovers, whomever, whatever. Let it go. Some people don't listen. We can explain why somebody do what they do, but it's not going to justify it. Be more honest. It's not going to justify it. It's not going to justify the people you love treating you like dirt because, oh, they didn't know any better. They knew how they didn't want to be treated. They knew that. So they should have known not to project it. But they did anyway. And you can't make them care. That's not your job. That might make you emotional. That might be a trigger for you. But you got to hear it. You can't make them care. It's not your responsibility to do so. What you can do is fill yourself up with so much self-love, acceptance. And self-love isn't really selfishness. Humans twist things around. Self-love is how you learn to love others wholeheartedly. Unconditional doesn't mean I tolerate you treating me any old way. It means I don't hold grudges and things in my vibrational field that brings me down. Love you. Peace out. Deuces. And that's where some of y'all are going to have to be with certain people in your life. I'm going to tell you right now. But it's all a part of that independence. It's all a part of you allowing yourself to be open to receiving what you truly deserve and making sure that you're standing in your truth so that you are truly deserving of it. Once the Knight of Swords has his mission, he gets to it, he sticks to it. Can't tell that. You can't tell that Knight that he can't achieve something. Look at his face. I want you to like notice the face on the character. He's like, I dare you to tell me I can't get it done. I dare you to make me a problem, bro. I dare you to make me a problem. You're going to get cut down in 2 seconds. Now, my sword is sitting here at my side. I haven't swung it on that behind, but just know, I stay ready. I stay ready. Wisdom. Asking questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. What did I just say? Don't be afraid to accept guidance. Don't let anyone, I don't care who they are, and be mindful how you're translating what people say, right? That's a part of that mindfulness. But don't let anyone make you feel like you can't accept guidance from another person. It's up to you to use your discernment and really know if that guidance is completely for you or what you're meant to take from it, right? I had, a close friend of mine that passed away. I may not have agreed with all of her viewpoints. That's fine. You don't got to agree with everybody. Agreement isn't always an argument or a confrontation. It just means that you have a different perspective. You've seen a different viewpoint. You can understand theirs because they've seen theirs, and you can be open to accepting that that's also a possibility. But you've just seen a different side of the coin. Both can be a reality. One doesn't have to trump the other, right? But when I tell you that woman's wisdom was amazing and still is amazing and is still expanding people to this day, good or jugget, like still to this day, that's what's happening. And don't always feel like you have to rely on following the wisdom steps of people who eventually do really effed up stuff. See where they might have started off good and where they might have become corrupted, but understand that there are those of us out here, we don't do corruptive-ish, right? Because a lot of times when people want to give you guidance on invest like or work with the ethnic of, you got people who mention, Amazon and all these different things, and then you look at the ethnic, the work ethic or the moral to the story, and there's some ish that's off. When you got plenty of people out here that don't have to do anything twisted, and they're able to reach the same level of success, and they don't have to flaunt it in your face. And here's the other thing. If they are not really flaunting it, but if they want to go ahead and dress a certain way and talk, that's their prerogative. And it's going to be yours too. Be open to broader perspectives. Be open to wisdom coming from the right type of vibration. We have miracles making a difference. Listen, I'm not even going to go into that card because you already know. We've been talking about this the whole message. Some of you were born in spring. I just heard the baby of spring. But it sounds like it's in reference to you. Like some of you were born in the springtime. And like spring, you bud when the seasons change. We have healing, restoring hope. Yeah, there's a reason they got me talking like this. Normally, Pile 1 is the long group. Pile 2 said, no, we got some things that they need to understand about this transformation. We got some miracles they got to be open to accepting, you dig? So speaking of miracles, let's tap into them wishes. I love it. I love it. Listen. everything we're talking about. That one flipped really interesting. Strength. You are stronger than your worries and stronger than your doubts. And didn't I tell you your individuality is kicking in here? Your personal talents are important in this world, important in growth, important in expansion. Y'all ain't hearing me though. It's time for you to start accepting the positive energy that comes your way and start putting it out. You get back what you look. That's what justice is about when at the end of the day, that karma energy, the major energy of karma, what I put out is what is given back. Be open to accept the nourishment being given back to you. You contribute something amazing right now. You may not see it, but you do, and you will see it as you go through this transformation. There is a safe haven for you. There's a place for you to expand, allow your strength to really show through. And strength isn't the lack of vulnerability. Vulnerability, when you really understand it, is strength. How strong can a person be to allow themselves to be vulnerable and know they're going to be okay anyway? Y'all ain't hearing me though. like, they almost got me getting preachy with y'all. Let's get your affirmations. Just keep swimming. Just keep on swimming. Keep going. It's not always about what you're leaving. Sometimes it's about what you're going. Don't let your past story be the only thing you think has to define you. Stay in tune with the moon. Stay in tune with the cycles, the fullness that comes in, the new beginnings that start, the phases in between. Remove the mask. Be authentically you. Be the individual that you were meant to be, because that individual is contributing to humanity. And at the bottom of the deck, we have forgiveness equals freedom. Because you carrying around a bitter taste in your mouth about someone else doesn't, it's like drinking the poison and hoping that they fall out. You know what I mean? That's an expression for a reason. Pile 2, I pray that encouraged you, it enlightened you, it helped you to be excited about the big transformations coming in your life. Peace, love, and light, beautiful soul. Pile 3, what's up, love? Okay, listen. This group might be a little triggering for people. I'm gonna try to keep this this group small, because it's one of those. This is one of those channel messages that I gotta really hone in on the majority of you, because it's trying to go in so many different directions. First and foremost, let's talk about the being here. This is a goddess that is the protector of mothers and children. So a lot of mothers, mother and child connection, whether you be a mom or, you know, how your relationship is with your own, play a part here. You could be a mother, whether it's adoptive or otherwise. That energy of how a mother protects, how a mother shields and gives grace is important to this message here. Be you masculine or feminine, okay? This being used to consume the children of humans. She used to be a demon. And one day the people went to one of the Buddhas and asked for assistance. And so what he did, he took one of her children, her youngest one. And she was so distraught and so grief-stricken. She didn't know where this child was. So she goes to him, and she had many kids, like a lot, okay? She could have made 80 nations by herself. But she goes to the same person and says, I need help in finding, I can't find my child, my youngest one. So he asks her, well, how do you think the other mothers feel when you consume their children? It wasn't, you know, he mentions, and there's different versions of this tale, but he mentions the fact that humans can't have as many, right? And can't live as many lifetimes to see them grow. But honestly, it's not about the number. It's really not about the number. It's about the fact that she didn't have compassion or even think of what the person would feel with her actions. Like, she didn't care. You know, she was living in her own little bubble, in her own little world. She didn't care about how what she did would impact another. There's a lesson here for some of you with that. Whether this is someone doing, I'm going to say you, because I'm channeling right now, but you can apply this to someone near you. However, be self-aware enough and open enough to receive if there's a lesson in here for you out of what I'm about to say before we get into this tarot. You have to ask yourself, are you at times taking actions without thinking of the consequences of them? Is there someone around you doing that and you're kind of allowing it without thinking of the consequence of how it not only affects you, but others around you? Are you a mother that feels the need to protect her young, and you have to evaluate your next moves because of that? You don't want them to be completely sheltered, but you don't want to keep them in a space or an environment where they don't feel safe either. And there may be precautions or moves that you need to take for that. And this is regardless of how old your children are. That's what I'm feeling. I'm not feeling an age limit here. Are you somebody who has a nourishing part of yourself, and you're meant to be mindful of what you consume energetically, mentally, and physically? Meaning, whether it's laying, and this is whether you're masculine or feminine, whether it's just laying around with any old body and not thinking about what's being consumed. Are you paying attention to the relationships around you? Positive, prosperous things are coming your way. Her whole belief system changed after she had her experience. She became a Buddhist and elevated from being this lower vibrational being into this higher vibrational being. We're talking about major transformations. You're going from a lower vibrational state of mind, existence, and or actions into a higher frequency and vibration, which also means you have to be mindful of the energies that you're taking in around you. Some of you are about to become mothers, because she also represents conception. So some of you are about to become that, and it may be time to make sure that you check any type of childhood traumas you may have experienced before stepping into that lane. If you're already in it, it's never too late. Check it. But big transformations of elevating from low vibration to high vibration are taking place. Belief systems expanding and or changing completely if necessary. Be open and be honest and real with yourself, okay? Let's hop on into the tarot. And we will cover a little bit of shadow here. I just didn't want to get too, picking up a lot of stuff, and I didn't want to get too shadowy. All right, pile 3. Big transformation. Whoa. Discovery. What'd I tell you? Belief system changing, expanding out of your current circumstances, but having to be mindful of how others have an effect on you and how you have an effect on others. Different backgrounds, different beliefs, none of that matters in hindsight when it comes to your existence. Honestly, those are man-made things, right? There's a difference between spirituality and religion. And when you start heading into a more spiritual state, a more elevated state, you look for divine truths, and you start to understand that those divine truths can come in any form, through any vessel, at any given time. There are no limits to existence other than the limitations that we place upon ourselves and others. Be mindful to not place a limit on yourself or others. Be mindful of individuals who want to force a limit upon you. Yes, you can be honest about your so-called weaknesses, but remember, what you think is weak about yourself is a strength to another. Not just because maybe they lack it, but because if you were in their life, you would harmonize with them. And she represents coming into harmony. She came into harmony when she became a protector of mothers and children. And considering what's happening right now currently around the world, honestly, but especially in the US, those of you who chose this pile, it's an interesting mix between a wake-up call and also like here's an idea of your mission or part of your mission. So a lot of self-discovery and exploring is coming in. Oh yeah, look at that. Explore. This is my major. The full card when I'm channeling is the explorer, the adventure, the measure of it. So we have this discovery, this journeying out of your current situation and realm, and doing so with an openness. It doesn't matter how old you are, being open to new perspectives. And it's like if you were used to staying in one town all your life, get the freak up out the town. Get in your car, get on a bus, go somewhere else, explore another location. If you were used to only really hanging around your family and your neighborhood, get out of your neighborhood. There's no excuse for ignorance today. However, there are those who are willfully ignorant, meaning they have opportunities to see different. They don't care to. They're trying to follow an agenda. And then there are those who are ignorant and they just need somebody to come in and enlighten them a little bit, as long as they're open to it. That's why I said no excuses. It's not saying that there aren't some who are, you know, honestly ignorant to something. Ignorance just means you don't know some ish. You know what I mean? You don't know something, you're ignorant to it. But when you start mixing ignorance with arrogance, it poses a problem. At one point in time, when she was at other lower vibration, she had some arrogance. It's really arrogant to go and take somebody else's precious, whatever's precious to them, and not think about the consequences of that, and having to go through a similar situation in order to gain the understanding of the consequences. You know what I mean? That's a bold move. But it also meant that her lesson had to be equally as bold. So be mindful of the energies that you're consuming and the energies that you put out, because when they come back, they might come back with the same degree or more. It's time to venture out of your shell, out of this one way that you understand existing, or these one or two ways that you understand your existence. And it's going to make you dive deeper into yourself and reach new heights. Notice how the tower is behind him. You know, got his little loyal companion next to him to help him stay cautious at the same time. You can be free. This is like freedom. This is what I'm picking up. I'm picking up journeying out, self-discovery, and freedom. And with the Page of Cups, the willingness to explore one's dreams from a different perspective, but also being compassionate to others' dreams. A message coming into you of happiness. Good news is on the way, which is also what this card can represent. Good news is on the way for a lot of you. Don't be closed off to it. Don't allow a certain thought to keep you stuck. And look at that. We have Two of Cups. Be it platonic or romantic, relationships are of importance. And your compassion towards those relationships and the compassion of others towards you is of importance here. So be mindful, my loves. Be mindful. Yeah, a lot of you are meeting people that are going to change. Oh, look at that. Right before I could say it. A lot of you are meeting people that are going to change your belief systems, your perspective on certain situations, even from your own past. Like things that might have jaded you or things that you might have given up on. They're going to come in and be like, let me show you like a whole new world, like a different viewpoint. And the divine is saying this is divinely orchestrated. It's happening for a reason. Are you ready to accept your freedom? Are you ready to expand with compassion and an open heart? Because what I'm feeling from her energy right now is this: open your heart. Come out of low vibrational thinking and actions. Accept that you did them once upon a time and then evolve out of them. Let's get into your shadow. For pile 3, your shadow. Acknowledgement. What I just say? Acknowledge if you've done something or something's been done to you, right? Recognize when you recognize the problem, you see the solution. Ooh, look like all 3 wanted to come out at once. Oh, we got love, relationships. That's why you got to be open, because there's a divine love coming in here, and you got to be able to receive it for what it is and not try to turn it. Not downplay it is what I'm hearing. Or treat this person wrong because you were treated wrong, or accept bad behavior because you think that's a part of the journey, or whatever the excuses are that the mind typically comes up with. Spirit's like, we're getting you out of that. Oh, why? Because you're reuniting with the twin flame. I feel like this isn't about someone you know, love. This isn't about someone you know. This could be someone totally new. For those of you who aren't already in a marriage or in a connection, maybe for some of you who are, we got to be honest around here, but there's a reunion of souls happening, a high frequency, a mission-driven connection. I tell you all the time, twin flames are mission-driven connections. So a part of what you're meant to contribute to this world ties in a bit with your relationship in love. She's about a lot of love, being a mother that protects, right? You might have had certain beliefs based on what your parents' relationship was or lack thereof, and so a whole shifting of your perspective is changing here. Now, this doesn't mean that everyone watching is necessarily in this type of intense connection, but it still represents a connection coming in your life that is divine, that's going to open your perspective. And if your heart's not not in it, if you're not caring or anything like that, it's going to be real hard to receive it or notice it. If you tolerate bad behavior because you thought that was a part of the journey, it's going to be real hard. You could also be the wake-up call for this person. The love and compassion that you have wakes them up. But relationships are important here. Yes, they brought up love, but I'm also feeling like with friends, with family, relationships. I'm going to go to the bottom of the deck in a minute, but they made me shuffle this. We got rebirth. Giving yourself a second chance. Ooh, that fits with everything I'm talking about right now. I love when spirit does that. The growth that has to take place. Releasing your anger, judgment, or lack of compassion towards others or yourself, releasing it. You could be compelling the release out of this person. And we have finding your limits. I feel like it's finding your way out of certain limits, like accepting that you can expand out of them with effort. Conquering your demons, the lower vibrational self. Not always about, look, there are entities. I don't lie about that around here. But sometimes it's about your own lower vibrational self, what your own thoughts or life situations created within yourself. And then look at that bottom of the deck, we have self-care, focus on physical and emotional well-being. Tying into this whole message, reevaluate your connections from your again, a mother vibe is important here. Some of you got to evaluate how you feel about maybe motherhood or your relationship with your mom. Even if it's a great relationship, what types of behaviors did you tolerate because that was mom, right? And your mom didn't think about how it made you feel because you were just her child. You know, like it's expanding on these thoughts to heal. Let's get wishes here. Cleansing. Wow. Wow. Acceptance. What have we been talking about this entire time? I'm covering a lot of you at once. I'm hoping y'all can keep up. You might have to watch this a few times because I'm picking up on a lot. And then we have excitement. That goes with that explorer energy. Get excited about self-discovery. Get excited to come out of belief systems that no longer serve you. Get excited about self-love. Get excited about being united with another soul that's mission-driven like you are. That'll, you know, again, not everybody watching this is in a twin flame connection. I have to be honest about that kind of thing. Some of you are in path-driven connections. But as long as that path is aligned with your destiny, there's so much growth that can take place. These connections are not all about separation, pain, irritation. Listen, sometimes what triggers the person is you bring out the best in them. And they first have to deal with the demons inside that said love don't operate that way. Love don't operate that way. Love is supposed to be painful. If love don't hurt, it ain't love. That's all bull. Love doesn't hurt you. Love doesn't put you in a headlock. That's not how this works. That's not how genuine affection works. That's humans making excuses for bad behavior and then justifying their own bad behavior as a response to it. But here you are in a position to expand out of that. If there's somebody around you that was like that, you're leaving them. So for some of you, you might have been married and you could be getting a divorce because that person you were married to wasn't equal to your vibration or soul. Your path is changing and shifting. And instead of being miserable and making it oh, it's just so much better. Accept that you're leveling up, that you're vibrating. They have a direction to go. They have their own journey. You got yours. And for some of you, you could be in a marriage right now and it's time to reconnect with each other. It's time to sit down and have a new discovery of yourself so that you can be open to all the changes taking place in them for the better. Because this is all about for the better. This is all positive energy here. Respect. Look at that. Respect for your growth and respect for the growth of other people around you. This is also tied into, again, friendships and family. Let's round off with your affirmations. I'm trying hard for them to not pull me in 50 directions with this message, y'all, because it's so many things that they're trying to put in my head to cover, but this is collective. I do not have the the capacity to cover that much at the moment. Weather the rain. Rain is cleansing. I tell you guys all the time, when it rains and it's not cold, I go out in the rain. I cleanse in the rain. You ain't gotta make yourself sick, but rain represents the washing away, the cleansing of. For some of you, that could be having a good cry. I love how there's a panda on everything. Mistakes become roadmaps. Make adjustments to find new direction. Oh, if I didn't just tell y'all that with this, I gotta show it because it's just, come on now. That's what that is. That's what that is. And the exploring card is that part that's telling you to find the new direction, like explore the new prospects, explore a new viewpoint. It helps you tap into acceptance. And we have remove the label. Remove telling yourself that these connections can only go 1 or 2 or 3 ways. These are multidimensional beings having this experience. It's not telling you that there's anything wrong with this name. This is a loose translation of divine flame. It is the path of 2 intertwining and recognizing their oneness. You don't get to shy that down just because you think that human perspective is so grand. That doesn't change what it is. Just like you can't change her from elevating out of a low vibrational being to a high vibrational being just because you don't think people can change. That's part of the system that's being overwritten right now. These missions happen in many different ways. And one divine truth of this journey is how mission oriented it is. Because what you start to accept about yourself and what you start to see and accept in others helps you expand to levels that are unimaginable. You couldn't sum up in your mind how great and amazing it is. So you don't have to necessarily be in the connection, but there's things that you can learn from that kind of intensity. For some of you, it's really, even though the soulmate card didn't come out, it's really strong soulmates that adjust more with your divine path. And we have what you feel you attract. I'm done. That's all she wrote. That's the whole message in a nutshell. That's everything I've been saying in a nutshell. I covered a lot of energies here right now. I'm overheating like crazy. Blessings. Y'all got some major transformations and shifts that you should be proud of that are taking place right now. Be open, be expansive. Just let it happen. Let it happen. That's the only way I can say it. Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls.
Get your copy of Love Confession Cyber Edition. Link in bio.